Hey guys, how are you? I am pretty excited that today is the day that what I'm going to say ties into Sunday, which is my church day. So I might be reading a little bit because there's a lot of things in here I just don't want to miss. But today's day 5 and it's Sunday, and the name of this or the theme of this post is faith and healing. This was a little bit tough chapter for me to write only because I'm not used to just spreading the word of Christ in front of the whole world. I just feel safe doing it with people that do that for themselves. So, one thing I want people to get out of this chapter is number one, I don't want you to be offended if you don't believe in Christ. That's okay. That's not what this chapter is about. I'm not being preachy. I'm just trying to, it's part of my journey. It's the story about how God has made a difference in my journey of emotional healing. And I, I ask that you would have an open mind and not think, oh, well, now that she believes in God and she's a believer, boof, we don't, we're done. That's totally not the intention of this chapter. The intention of this chapter is to let you know how God has affected my life and helped me through this healing journey, and also how having God in my life, even after the healing journey, has really made so many great differences in my life. So having said that, I put on underneath chapter 5, underneath each chapter is a biblical verse that I feel ties into the theme of each chapter. And this chapter is based on this verse, 1 Peter 5:7. It says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Let me tell you something. Between yesterday and today, I've had so much anxiety, I'm surprised I still have my long hair. It is just a couple of days before my book goes out for pre-order, and there's a lot of things that still need to be taken care of. Of course, it's like planning a wedding. Everything falls apart right before the wedding, but at the end of the day, everything works out. And that's kind of where it is. It's more back-end stuff. It's certainly not book stuff. So having that anxiety and just remembering to cast that anxiety on him, basically what that's saying to me is, don't wear that burden on my shoulders. There's somebody there that can take that burden so I can continue to move forward. Because in life, if you hold those burdens on your shoulders, whether you believe in God or not, you will not be able to move forward. The weight is just too heavy. Again, on your shoulders, just might as well put that backpack right back on. So cast your anxiety on him means a lot to me. And he asks us to do that because at the end of the day, he really cares. So that's what this chapter is about. Faith has been a cornerstone for my journey, and I'm not going to cry, but I truly believe that even when we don't know God's plan, we are walking through it. But when we realize that all the dominoes were in the right spot, it's a pretty amazing moment. So it was faith. It was meeting people in high school after feeling so isolated in high school. It was meeting my friend Steve that gave me the opportunity to meet people that were more in tune with what I felt in my heart. I just didn't know that it was there. I didn't know what it actually was. And so being there and being involved in a youth group and really set me apart from what my siblings were going through, because prior to that I was just watching, isolated, just watching my whole home just fall apart, being the youngest. But somebody saw the pain in me on a school bus and tapped me on the shoulder. And that was probably one of the most profound days of my life. Slowly I began to understand. Slowly I began to let go of my fears, my anxieties, understand that there's something in this world that's bigger than me. And you got to trust it, because trust is not something you see. Trust is something you feel. And trust can also be a decision. So it was a slow process. And believe me, just because you believe in God and become a Christian, that does not mean your problems, your emotional baggage goes away. Just like healing from emotional baggage, the growth of faith is a journey. And there's plenty of times where you go up and you go down. You have your peaks, you have your valleys. You have your expectations are not necessarily realistic, but that's because your relationship with God is still very young. So I talk a lot about that in my 5th chapter. What faith has also taught me is it taught me to surrender, just to give up on me trying to control the outcome of everyone else's life. Trust me, well, let's just see. Some people would say I'm very controlling, but I think what it really is I like to control my situation, not other people's situation. But when you believe in God, controlling your situation is not allowing God in so he can help you. So that's what surrendering is all about. Think about, even if you didn't believe in God, that you're having an argument with a friend or a spouse or somebody that you really care about. Well, if that argument keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, nobody is surrendering. Eventually, either you'll walk away or somebody has to surrender. And then the gift of healing begins. And that's pretty simple as far as, it's that simple when it comes to faith. When you decide to have faith and when you're growing in faith, you have to remember that you as a person has to surrender. And that's when the doors start to open. So I just wanted to leave it with you. Here's what I like, how would I say? Here's what I would hope for you. I would hope that when you read that chapter, you read it with an open mind. I think everybody at some time in their life searches for God, searches for a higher power, searches for Buddha, gets into yoga, searches for some sort of spirituality. So I would ask you to think about today, and I'm going to read this straight from here. How has faith or spiritual practice supported your healing journey? Have you ever found yourself at such a rock bottom that you just pray, God, help me, please? Think of that moment. What were you really asking God in that moment? Were you really serious about asking for God's help? Or did you just need a place to vent and to just let it all out, cry it all out, without ever expecting God to help you? So I would challenge you that the next time you say, God, I can't take this anymore, please help me, that you really think about that, because he will help you. You just got to take your words and put them into actions. So I'm really excited about this chapter, and I hope you enjoy it. It is a very profound chapter, and just ask that you have an open mind. And I'm so glad that it came up, this Facebook page came up today, and wish you a wonderful journey of spirituality. Again, whatever you choose in your spirituality, because I think I'm trying to, as a Christian, I feel I'm also called to have an open mind. And I feel no matter what your journey is in spirituality, it's going to teach you to be humble, to surrender. And that's all you can do, is take the first steps of humbling yourself, surrendering yourself, because that's when you can forgive others. That's when you can forgive yourself. And that's where life change starts to happen. It's very, very hard to have emotional healing without some sort of surrender. So I pray that y'all love this chapter and love this book. It's coming close. December 17th is the day that you can go on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, and not my website quite yet, but that's okay, and pre-order the book. So have a great day. Enjoy your Sunday, and take some time to either spend time with yourself, meditate, and yes, even pray. Take care.